深い。
So inside the video, I did make a mistake. First of all, inside the video, it was input ended for some reason, and I didn't actually do the proper equation. It's supposed to be like this. You can see here the skill set and if it's equal to SUKUNA. So now, yeah, that's the code. So I'm gonna put this here at the start. So if you guys are watching later on and you realize that it's not working for you, this is probably why, because I forgot to add this. Okay, so as you guys can see on my screen right now, I have like a little framework going on. This is much better than the one I posted before. Bear in mind, if you guys are confused on how this works, I dropped a video on it yesterday where I was explaining how each individual parts interacts with one another, and it's a very useful framework for organizing your code. So yeah, make sure you guys watch my previous video after this one and it will explain it to you. But yeah, make sure you guys join my Discord server. We are growing as a community very fast. I dropped all my open source stuff in there. I've already dropped like 2 or 3 different videos worth of open source stuff in my Discord server. So join up. It's basically free stuff. It helps you learn. That's how I learn, you know. So yeah, join the Discord server. Let's get started, bro. Alright, so first things first, you can see I was pretty much just checking if the skill sets attribute, if the character's attribute was called SUKUNA, and if it was, then it fired the server and printed out dismantle, because that's the skill that we're going to be making. And then it goes to the server, and if you can see I passed an argument with the remote event, and then if the argument is equal to dismantle, then it prints out server and it requires the dismantle module and it starts it. Then inside the dismantle module, you can see here it just prints module. So now when we run it and we press Z, you can see it says dismantle, server, and module. So that's kind of how all 3 of those scripts kind of connect to one another. And the reason why we code it on the server is because hackers and stuff could, like, you know, change it, and you don't want any. And if you didn't code it on the server, I cannot speak. If you didn't code it on the server, nobody would be able to see it. But we do replicate the effects to the client to prevent lag, and I will be showing you guys how I do that anyways. And I did show you guys in my previous videos also, you know what I'm saying? You might want to check that out. Alright, so the first thing that we did now was we played the animation, but before that, we have to pass in the player from the local script to the server script and then into the module script. That way the module can actually know which player is using the skill. Then we pretty much just got all the, you know, the parts of the character, the human root part and whatnot, and we played the animation. So when we run the script, you can see the animation kind of just plays. Nothing actually happens yet, but we're gonna make it so they go in the air, spawn the hitbox and everything. So yeah. Alright, so the next thing that we did was we did a ray cast to determine this, I guess I could say, find the position of where your character will be when they jump in the air. So the reason why I do ray casting is because it's way more efficient, because if there was like a part blocking your character, it wouldn't go above that part. I've showed some of this inside my older videos. If you guys want to check them out, I explained it pretty well. But yeah, it stops you from like flinging into the part and like glitching your character or whatever. But yeah, you can see it's just a ray cast that shoots 30 studs up. Here I'm firing to the single client. I'm telling it to zoom in basically. So this is, I'm going to show you guys my client replicator all at the end, because it'll make more sense at the end if I were to show you. But essentially what I'm doing is when I want to show the effects, I'm not showing the effects on the server, I'm showing the effects on the individual client. So if I do fire client, it's going to fire to the single client, depending on which player you passed in. You can see I passed in a player, so I'm telling it to zoom in. Otherwise, if I did fire all clients, which I'm going to do later on, it's going to fire and show all the clients in the game that certain VFX that we're going to play. So yeah, hope that made sense. I'm not really that good at explaining, but yeah. So this code right here won't do anything. It's just, I guess you could say, some of the logic behind the code, which is why we put it on the server, so like exploiters can't like change it and abuse it. Alright, so as you guys can see, next up we added the body position. It's pretty simple stuff. We pretty much just made it so after a task stop wait of 0.1 second, so it can actually wait for the animation to, like, you know, do the little jump first. Then whatever the position of the ray cast was, the final position, we pretty much just set the body position of the character to that position. That way when we use the skill, we jump up this distance, then after like 0.5 seconds we fall back down because we destroy the body position, which is like, it's gonna say gravity in a way. So yeah. Alright, so this is probably what a lot of you guys are waiting for. This is how I do my hitboxes. I pretty much have a hitbox stored inside of Replicator storage. So let me show you. You can see here, here it is. So I'm gonna put it into workspace. See, that is the hitbox. When I use the skill, I change the orientation and stuff of the hitbox, so I'm gonna explain all that anyways. But you can see pretty much all I'm doing is I'm setting parameters for the hitbox, which is, I guess you could say, this will ignore the character and anything inside the effects folder. And then yeah, you guys, the code is really not like complicated, but then it gets the target, like the person I got hit, and then it deals 99 damage and it fires to all clients. So instead of fire to the single client, it fires to all the clients, the character that got hit and the human root part. And the reason we do that is so we can play the hit effect on the character that actually got hit. and then after that we destroy the hitbox. So that you guys won't even be able to see the hitbox, you know what I'm saying? And you can see I set the hitbox C frame to the origin, which is the human root parts position. I set that over here, and then we did a C frame times that C frame dot new, and then this is just us like positioning it how we like. And then the C frame dot angles, for those that don't know, C frame is basically the position or something as well as its orientation. So this is just me handling the orientation, and it was kind of tricky, but yeah. So now we made it. Let me actually not delete the hitbox so you guys can see where the hitbox is actually, how the hitbox looks. So now when I use this skill and it gets to a certain point, it spawns in the hitbox like this way. So you can see how before it was flat, it spawns in this way. And we're pretty much doing whatever is inside the hitbox takes damage. So you can see now, if I were to use it on this dummy, he takes damage and it plays the effects. I'm going to show you guys the way it plays the effects, etc. later on, but yeah, you can see there's still more to the skill. I didn't even play the second effect, but yeah, you can see here, does that, and then whoever gets hit by it, it plays the effect. And then obviously if you were to delete the hitbox is going to be destroyed so fast that you wouldn't even see it, you know. So you can see it here, it just looks like the players got hit, but obviously we still need to add the actual slash. All right, and finally all we did was, after the hitbox destroyed, then we want the replicator to like show the VFX, right? So then we do go replicator and we fire to all clients, and we say the name and the skill set it belongs to and the information we want to pass to. So the origin is like the position that I want it to spawn at, and then we also send it to this individual client as well, so it will play like the camera shake and stuff. That makes sense. So here we're saying, we're pretty much telling it here, okay, so for every person in the game, play like this VFX, but then for every individual person in the game, like the person that used the skill, it will do this. So now when we run the game, you can see for the individual, it does the camera shake, but for everybody else, which I'm going to show you in a second, it doesn't do that. But it also runs the slash effect and it does damage. But if I were to do a test mode with like 2 players, which I'll do now, you're going to see it's still going to only do the camera shake for player 1, but for the rest of the players it won't do that, but they'll still be able to see the VFX. And the VFX won't be on the server, because if it was on the server, it will cause a lag like later on in the game, which is why it's much more effective to just do it the way that I did in this video. So yeah, let me just close these and show you guys what I mean. So look, I'm going to use it on this screen. Let me move back on this one. So you can see here, it does the effect. You can see it on both screens, but on the server, there's nothing happening. Now if I were to hit one of these dummies or even the player, you can see it does the damage, it plays the effects, and we're chilling. Do it again. Here's the player, does the damage, plays the effects, everybody can see it, no issues, you know. Plays the effect, there you go. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. Now I'm going to show you guys the client replicator. Don't get scared by looking at this, it's not too complicated, but pretty much all we're doing here is we're looking for the remote event, and depending on what it is, we're pretty much just emitting the particles. And that's pretty much it. It's not too complicated, but if this video does get 200 likes, I will be open sourcing it, and
近々なんか見えない絆なんて